See, I think we're live, everybody. Let's do a sound check. Maybe we're not live. There we go. All right, let's do a sound check, everyone. Welcome to No Crime, No Time, where if you didn't do the crime, you sure shouldn't do the time. Okay, you guys, let's see how that went over. See if we can hear it. Let's do a sound check, everyone. There we go. All right, so I'm going to jump into it because I'm supposed to be going camping. And I looked, and this is like 50 some pages. I haven't really read any of it, so it's going to be a cold read. But I'm going to postpone my camping trip by a couple hours here. Hey, John Boat's lovely. And let me get things set up for us. And we're going to read Zellner'S response. I also want to tell you that there's a rumor, which I'm hoping to confirm. Hey, Mary, that there are 2 more witnesses that are going to be coming forward. Now, the rumor is that 2 more witnesses are going to be coming forward from a completely different angle that are going to totally dissolve Scott Tadich's alibi. So we'll see. Hey, Ella Child's lovely. All right, guys, let's jump into this. 56 pages, and I want to get camping. Okay. State of Wisconsin, plaintiff versus Steve A. Avery, defendant. Defendant appellate's reply to the state's response to motion to stay appeal and remand. The defendant appellate, Stephen Avery, Mr. Avery, by his undersigned attorneys Kathleen T. Zellner and Stephen G. Richards, for his reply to the state's response in opposition to his motion to stay the appeal and remand the cause to the circuit court, state as follows. Hey, James Roth. Introduction. It is a surprise irony that in one of the most blatant examples of wrongful conviction, the state's only response is to falsely accuse Mr. Avery's lead counsel of nefarious conduct for discovering a 6th Brady violation. Rather than seeking justice, the state wants to slay the messenger by putting forth more false allegations, a skill that it has mastered over the last 16 years. The state turns a blind eye towards its past actions of withholding exculpatory evidence. When the state disclosed of a CD of violent porn from the Dassey Yonda computer 12 years after the CD was created and concealed from prior counsel. The state argued, as it does now, that Mr. Avery was attempting to add new material to his 974.06 motion. When the state facilitated the destruction in 2011 of evidence it had agreed to allow Mr. Avery to test, the state argued, as it does now, that Mr. Avery was attempting to add new material to his 974.06 motion. This court did not accept those disingenuous responses then, and it should reject the same disingenuous response now. We've had the doors open again for packing, so I have George back. The state asked this court to overlook the fact that in further violation of discovery, it failed to disclose to Mr. Avery's prior counsel that a former driver who delivered newspapers to the Avery salvage yard in November of 2005 observed 2 men, including a shirtless Bobby Dassey, the state's primary witness in securing Mr. Avery's conviction, pushing Mrs. Hallbach's RAV4 down Avery Road prior to its latter discovery on the Avery property. Hey, Jeannie. I'm glad you caught alive, too. In its response, the state states, it is reasonable to conclude at this point that Mr. Avery is not pursuing these claims in good faith. However, the state's conclusion is clearly refuted by the procedural history of the case, the veracity of Mr. Zawinski's statement, the support of affidavits, and the state's history of misconduct. While the state has not been prejudiced in any way by its own misconduct and this court's prior ruling granting Mr. Avery's motion to remand, its response merely mimics its previous responses to Mr. Avery's motions, arguing that Mr. Avery is dragging this appeal out and that he should voluntarily dismiss his pending appeal. In its state's pattern of concealing and withholding exculpatory evidence that has forced Mr. Avery to delay his appeal numerous times already, delaying his quest for a new trial and eventual freedom. Argument. Hi, Nicole Wong. Good morning. Number 1. The state's argument that Avery did not conduct a reasonable investigation before filing his motion is completely meritless. The state argues that Avery's counsel violated Wisconsin statute 802.05 by not conducting a, quote, affirmative investigation into the assertions made by Mr. Zawinski in his affidavit before filing the motion for remand. Without citing any precedents or acknowledging Mr. Avery's prior discovery requests, the state suggests that Avery was required to attempt a new open records request to verify Mr. Zawinski's call and or ascertain the identity of the female officer with whom Mr. Zawinski spoke prior to filing the motion. The state maintains that Avery's counsel may not, quote, rely simply on the word of a person like Zawinski before presenting Mr. Zawinski's affidavit to the court. The state's argument should be rejected because it's based on false premise, i.e. that Mr. Avery's attorney did not conduct a reasonable investigation into Mr. Zawinski and the averments in his affidavit before filing the motion for remand. The state's argument appears to be based on its self-serving conclusion that Mr. Avery's counsel stumbled upon Mr. Zawinski and within 48 hours filed the pending motion and to stay the appeal and remand for Mr. Avery to file a supplemental post-conviction motion with circuit court. The state's conclusion is demonstrably false and the result of a careless, sloppy reading of Mr. Avery's motion. The simple truth is that Mr. Avery's counsel conducted a thorough investigation relative to Mr. Zawinski. Certainly a great deal more effort was made to vet Mr. Zawinski than the state made to vet its primary witness, Bobby, who has been caught in numerous untruths. During Mr. Avery's trial, Bobby testified that he was asleep and woke up around 2:30 and looked out of the kitchen window of the Dassey residence, and that he saw Miss Halbach's RAV4 pulled up, Miss Halbach exit the vehicle and start taking pictures of the Dassey van. When Miss Halbach finished photographing the van, Bobby claimed to see her, quote, walking up toward Uncle Stephen's trailer. Bobby testified that he took a shower, and when he left the property at about 2:45 p.m. to go bow hunting, he claimed that Miss Halbach's RAV4 was still on the property, but he did not see her. Bobby's testimony was the only evidence presented by the state that the RAV4 never left the Avery property on October 31st, 2005. Bobby's testimony was the most determinative of Mr. Avery's guilt because the state used it to establish that Miss Halbach never left the Avery property. Based upon Bobby's testimony, the state claimed that Mr. Avery was the last person to see Miss Halbach alive. However, Bobby's testimony is replete with lies and contradicted by numerous witnesses, including his own brother, Brian, who told law enforcement that Bobby saw Miss Halbach leave the Avery property on October 31st, 2005. The CD, which the state withheld from Mr. Avery's counsel, also establishes a timeline of internet searches directly contradicting Bobby's trial testimony on October 31st, that he was asleep from 6:30 to 2:30. Additionally, Bobby's testimony that his back was scratched by his puppy has been refuted by Mr. Avery's expert, Larry Bloom, MD. Unlike the state's failure to investigate the credibility of its primary witness, Bobby, Mr. Avery's counsel rigorously investigated Mr. Zellner's claim. Mr. Zellner first emailed Mr. Avery's counsel law firm on December 26th, 2020, and Mr. Avery's counsel and her investigator vetted the the word has left the building, legitimacy. Whew, I know the word, I just got brain block, and veracity of the information provided by Mr. Winsky over the next 3.5 months before filing the pending motion to stay. Prior to filing the motion, Mr. Avery's counsel, number one, reviewed Mr. Zellner's email sent on December 26, 2020, Zellner affidavit. Number two, conducted an extensive background check producing, among other information, Mr. Zellner's previous address, phone numbers, job history, social media accounts, car purchases, criminal history, relatives, etc. Zellner affidavit. Number three, reviewed all of the discovery produced by the state prior to Mr. Avery's 2007 trial, searching for any record of Mr. Zellner's phone call to the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Office. And four, searched and corroborated Mr. Zellner's statement based on other evidence, including but not limited to the affidavit of Blaine Dassey and Kevin Ramlow. Number five, hired an additional licensed investigator, James R. Kirby, Investigator Kirby, to conduct an additional background check of Mr. Zellner through additional databases, Zellner affidavit, Kirby affidavit. Number six, after continuing the veracity of Mr. Zellner by its extensive investigation, Mr. Avery's counsel and staff conducted a telephone interview with Mr. Zellner on April 9, 2021, related to what he claimed to witness, Zellner affidavit. After this interview, Mr. Avery's counsel and staff prepared an affidavit and requested Investigator Kirby to meet with Mr. Zellner in person and conduct a second interview of him to determine his credibility. After thoroughly interviewing Mr. Zellner and reviewing his affidavit with him for any changes, Mr. Zellner executed his affidavit on April 10, 2021. See affidavits of Kathleen T. Zellner and Investigator James R. Kirby attached as Group Exhibit A. Based on the foregoing, the notion that Mr. Avery's counsel did not reasonably investigate Mr. Zellner's and the information he has provided is simply untrue. Undersigned counsel and her investigator have had the opportunity to assess Mr. Zellner's credibility based on his demeanor and the consistency between his observations and other known facts related to the disappearance of Mrs. Teresa Halbach. Undersigned counsel investigation into Mr. Zellner and his affidavit have continued since the filing of the motion to remand, the results of which to date have only confirmed the credibility of the information he has provided. Hey, Paula B., Shane Carlos, Christy Kitchen, Mary again, Jazzy Nass, good to see everyone. Hey, Kat Triber. The state's reasonable investigation argument, which reasonably can be construed as an attempt to unreasonably divert the court's attention from the materiality of the information provided by Mr. Zellner, is based on misleading characteristics or characterization of Wisconsin Statute 802.05. The state's response suggests that an attorney must detail the steps Mr. Avery's counsel took to verify the truthfulness of the assertions made in the pleading itself. Wisconsin Statute 802.05 imposes no such obligation. On the contrary, requiring the attorney to disclose such information would infringe upon the work product privilege. Most materials, information, mental impressions, and strategies collected and adopted by a lawyer after retainer in preparation for litigation and relevant to the possible issues must be initially classified as a work product of the lawyer, not subject to inspection or discovery unless good cause for discovery is shown. The state's argument that Mr. Avery's counsel did not reasonably investigate Mr. Zellner'S and the state in his affidavit because a new open records request was not made is not only unsupported by precedent, but is illogical. Based on the information in Mr. Zellner'S affidavit, the state was constitutionally required to disclose Ms. Zellner'S phone call and the information he provided to law enforcement to the defense before Mr. Avery's trial. Undersigned counsel has reviewed all of the discovery disclosed by the prosecution, including records of phone calls made to Manitowoc County Sheriff's Office, and nowhere in the discovery does such record exist of Mr. Zellner'S phone calls. The state provides no explanation as to why a record of Mr. Zellner'S call would be produced in response to an open records request now if evidence of the call was withheld in the first instance. Indeed, the non-disclosure of concealment of exculpatory information is the crux of the Brady violation. The state seems unaware that Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department disclosed in 2018 that it no longer had the telephone calls from citizens to its non-emergency number. Ta-da-da-da. Magic. Lastly, the state's efforts to compare the situation to Bellick is a complete non-starter. In Bellick, the plaintiff alleged that the defendant, whom she had hired to replace windows in her home, stole $60,000 in cash from her office. Bellick, however, the homeowner was present when the defendant removed the window from her home and admitted that she did not observe any unusual bulge in the defendant's clothing to suggest that he had secreted away such a large amount of cash. It was also undisputed that although the plaintiff discovered the money missing 3 days after the windows were replaced, she did not report the cash as missing to either her husband or the sheriff for another month. The sheriff's office investigated the complaint and closed the investigation without referring the defendant for criminal prosecution. The circuit court granted summary judgment in favor of the defendant and further found that the lawsuit was frivolous, awarding attorney's fees and costs to the defendant. In affirming the circuit court award of sanctions under Wisconsin Statute 802.05, this court noted that the plaintiff's attorney did not conduct any pre-filing investigation or post-filing discovery to confirm the client's allegations. This court also observed that a number of circumstances about the plaintiff's allegations, including the unlikelihood that she would leave so much money unattended in the presence of a stranger, the improbability of the defendant being able to walk out of the residence with $3,020 bills in his person, and the plaintiff's display in reporting the cash as missing did not pass the smell test, which should have triggered additional investigation by her attorney. This court held that, given these warning bells, the plaintiff's attorney failure to conduct any investigation beyond taking the own client's word for what occurred violated 802.05. It is readily apparent why Belch's inapplicable is an I gotta reread it. It is readily apparent why Belch's inapplicable. My brain is tired. She is brilliant. I'm just telling you. Whoever wrote this is nailing this. 3 Ways to Sunday, and we've just started. Mary Maley, Nolly Twist. Jazzy Naz wants to know if anybody has any spaghetti for the state of Wisconsin. They look hungry. Well, she didn't say they look hungry. I added that. Hey, Jamie. Hey, Marion Collins. Welch has no bearing on any issue presented by Mr. Avery's motion for remand. Likewise, it is readily apparent that the state has not shown the motion for remand to be based on frivolous allegations and or the motion was filed in violation of 802.05. Number 2. Because the state disputes Mr. Thomas Lewinsky's credibility, this cause must be remanded. In its response, the state is quick to cast judgment on Mr. Avery's new witness and the information he provided without producing any evidence or arguing that Mr. Oh, I got to set this down a minute. My hands are freezing. Let's see if this is going to hold. Get that out of the way. Oh, I've got it on my hourglass, which moves. That's not going to cut it. What can I lay it on? Okay, we're going to try to go with that. It's chilly in my room, but I'm trying to acclimate because I'm going camping and it's going to be cold. Okay. However, besides Mr. Avery's counsel, verification of Mr. Zawinski's background and information he provided, the record itself supports the veracity of Mr. Zawinski's affidavit and corroborates his statements among other evidence discovered by Mr. Avery's counsel. Mr. Zawinski's affidavit is consistent with Kevin Ramlow's affidavit that he spotted the RAV4 on Highway 147 east of Avery Salvage Yard on November 3rd and 4th. Additionally, Mr. Zawinski's affidavit is consistent with the affidavit of Bobby Dassey's own brother, Blaine Dassey, in which he attested he saw Bobby Dassey in possession and driving a bluish-green vehicle Blaine did not recognize from the Avery property onto Highway 147. Vehicle Blaine did not recognize. On the October 31st, the day Teresa Halbach disappeared. I'm going to be real with you. We do have a problem. Because Blaine Dassey went on social media and said it was not a RAV4, that it was a green Ford Ranger. So he either changed his story or he quoted it wrong then. So I'm keeping it real. I want us to win, but the truth is what wins. All this aside, the state's criticism of the veracity of Mr. Zawinski's statement is inappropriate for this court to consider anyway. It is not for this court, but rather the circuit court sitting as the trier of fact to weigh the evidence presented at trial. Due regard shall be given to the opportunity of the trial court to judge the credibility of the witness. The state's response merely substantiates, don't even know that word, that a conflict concerning Mr. Zawinski's credibility demands the circuit court's intervention for credibility determination. Number 3. Mr. Avery's motion is proper. I can't talk today. Mars retrograde is starting to happen, and I'm literally getting tongue-tied. Plus, I'm in a hurry because I want to get camping, but I wasn't going to leave you guys, so here we go. As the state's response acknowledges the decision to remand is left to the court's discretion. It is in its response, the state makes unfounded accusations of Mr. Avery's counsel trying to delay Mr. Avery's appeal. The state should be remanded that this circuit previously granted 3 or 4, excuse me, God bless me, 4 times over, granted 3 or 4 motions Mr. Avery filed to remand and supplement his post-conviction motion. Like Mr. Avery's current motion, none of these were considered frivolous now, nor filed for an improper purpose, as the state now argues. Therefore, the state's convoluted argument that Mr. Avery somehow does not have the right to file a motion to stay his appeal and remand his case, does not have any merit. Pursuant Wisconsin Statute 974.06, all grounds for relief available to a person must be raised in his or her original supplemental and amended motion. Mr. Zawinski's affidavit supposes Mr. Avery's claim that the state has engaged in a pattern of withholding exculpatory and or impeaching evidence from the defense. In addressing a Brady claim, a court is required to assess the cumulative impact of all the suppressed evidence to determine its materiality. Mr. Avery submits that this court's reasoning in its February 27, 2019 remand order that, quote, due to the case's extensive history, there is a benefit to having existing claims developed or litigated while they are relatively fresh, rather than positioning the claims to be procedurally barred in a future proceeding, should apply here. Mr. Avery has brought this issue to the court's attention in a timely manner. That the information Mr. Zawinski provided was not discovered and investigated by Mr. Avery's counsel until the briefs were submitted in this appeal should not affect the counsel's decision whether to remand Mr. Avery's case. Mr. Avery does not want to waive this issue by not addressing it at this time. This appeal must be stayed, and this issue must be remanded to the circuit court for proceedings that should include a hearing concerning the undisclosed phone call Mr. Zawinski made to the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Office. The undisclosed phone call and information Mr. Zawinski provided to the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Office is exculpatory and or impeaching evidence which contradicts the state's primary witness, Bobby Dassey's testimony, and inculpates Bobby Dassey as a third-party suspect pursuant of Denny. The state cannot credibly argue that Mr. Zawinski did not contact Manitowoc County Sheriff's Office with information related to seeing Bobby Dassey and another unidentified pushing the RAV4 before the RAV4 was, quote, discovered on the Avery property on November 5th, 2005. The state's action demand that further proceedings be conducted to determine if Mr. Avery's due process rights have been violated under Brady. For the reason above, the court should allow Mr. Avery's appeal to be stayed and remanded to the circuit court for further proceedings to determine whether Mr. Avery can supplement his motion to support his claim and the state violated his constitutional rights under Brady. Conclusion. Wherefore, undersigned counsel respectfully requests that the court enter an order staying the appeal and remanding the cause to the circuit court to permit Mr. Avery to pursue a supplemental post-conviction motion in connection with Mr. Avery's discovery of previously suppressed evidence by the state. Dated this 22nd day of April 2021. Respectfully submitted, Kathleen Zellner. Now that's 13 pages. Then we have the certificate of service as always. And then we have Mrs. Kathleen Zellner's affidavit. Jamie says, what I find confusing is that Mr. Zawinski changes his story saying it was a few days before the 5th, then goes on to say he saw them pushing it on the morning of the 5th. Do we think this? Jamie, Zawinski doesn't change his story. A different person saw it a few days earlier on Highway 147. Zawinski's story remains the same. No, it makes him appear truthful. Jazzy now says, if the state saw Jazzy now says, if the state stopped hiding evidence, then Kathleen wouldn't need to keep filing supplementals. Oh, thank you, Jazzy. Ronald Cass says the state shows their contempt for someone like Zawinski. Exactly. On St. George's Day, So, before we get into this affidavit of Kathleen, I do want to put out there that there are rumors that may very well come into play to be not rumors. I say rumors because what I've seen is a copy of communication between someone that plays a key role in this case. It's their brother. And so, and it's not who you're thinking. And I've done research on this individual. They had disturbing bonfires in their backyard. And they Facebooked it. And I literally saw their Facebook. And they are the brother to this individual. They like to really, really, really have 10, 15-foot bonfires on a regular basis, according to their Facebook pictures. And so I find it interesting when we have Scott Tadich building up this fire story against Stephen, and it's Scott Tadich's brother is the rumor, is the one speaking, who is Sean Tadich. Sean Tadich's and Scott Tadich's father's place actually is on Cottage Lane. And Cottage Lane is right, like here's Highway 147. And here is the river. And there's a cul-de-sac back here. And this is where Sean Tadich's and Scott Tadich's mom and dad would have lived. Now they got divorced, but they still kept the property. And this is where they seen the Rav-ish, right? It's also interesting that at that turnaround spot, that curve in the river, 2 hunters called the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Office and reported somebody in waders with a green Ford truck back in there at a weird time of year in November. So, you know, when you look at this rumor that Sean Tadich is saying, in this rumor, I'll get the rumor. I'm going to keep calling that till we know, so that nobody misconstrues my words. I'm going to read you what the text is as to what I was given. So this is the text that I was shown. Supposedly it's Sean Tadich. Allegedly. It says, "Do you know what happened to someone is asking this?" And the response from Sean Tadich allegedly is, "Well, Dawn, did you see when Scott was on the stand, he said he was at the hospital with his and the only 2 people that seen him was Bobby and my mom. Well, what about the other brother, my ex-friend? And I was at the hospital too. And Scott lied and said no one seen him but Bobby and my mom. Funny. Scott came back to the hospital with Barb, Brandon's mom." He said Brandon's mom. "And my other brother, and I asked if he seen any deer because he left hospital to go hunting. Scott said he shoot a doe but couldn't find." Then we get the next picture is all I have, and it's part of the other person talking. It said, "Stabbing took place like he stole your woman and talked behind your back, ? I don't know him or anything." The person answers, this allegedly Sean Tadich allegedly answers, "No, he's my fucking brother. Long story too much to text. So are you a reporter?" The person answers, "The burning question to the world wants to know it. Do you think he had anything to do with all the murder stuff with Stephen? And no, not a reporter, just a normal person something." "Christ almighty," says allegedly Sean. "What's he saying?" says the other person. The other person said, "Scott left hospital around 2. This is good stuff." This other person says, "What does the trial transcript say?" "I knew it would be, that's why I needed backup." Allegedly Sean Tadich says, 3/3/30. The person says, "Are you recording it?" And that's all I have. Mary says it's all over Facebook. I don't know. All I know is Scott Tadich is the one said he was hunting Bobby said he was bow hunting. We have an arrow on Cuss Road. We have Bobby Dassey pushing. I actually didn't mean to say that. I told you retrograde. Pushing a Rev 4. Hey, Bramble. Hey, Kat. Kat says if Scott and Sean had a falling out, he might be ready to come forward if it's true. Shane Carlos says Khadijah King-Kratz was the only one saying the blue Rev 4. Yes, Sean is Scott's brother. I'm telling you, Sean used to post huge bonfire pictures on his Facebook all the time. Like in 2015 or 16, the fires were literally, and I'm not pulling a Scott Tadich, I'm telling you, the fires were 10 to 15 feet tall at times on the photographs alone. I find that, I always have found that interesting. And the location of his home. Bramble Teaser says, don't get me started on the Rev. They are two completely different colors. I agree. The mother said dark green. Not a bluish green. Dark green. We have 11 witnesses that pointed out there on Highway 147 before the 5th, and it is green. What is Bobby pushing? A blue Rev 4. To me, the state knew that this girl had been murdered in that car. They crushed the car, they crushed the body, they crushed everything, and they reproduced and staged a crime. From Cuss Road, they held it there, and they moved it up to Stevens' property. And I think that they honestly twisted and manipulated everybody in the Avery family, and it was a political hit on this girl to take her out. That's my belief. Shane Carlos says, true, Bramble. It is. It's two different cars. I mean, I'm not going to spend time wasting on it being two different cars. It's not just the differences in the cars. It's that there are no fingerprints in the blue Rev of the victim. It cannot be her car. This is why I don't do a lot of lives anymore, because I'm at the point to where I feel like I'm repeating myself to the point of insanity. But at the same time, I know there's a lot of new people that want to get behind this case, and so I'm trying to find the patience to relive some of this. Yes, we have no fingerprint of the victim inside of the car. How in the hell did this woman drive this car? She didn't. Because it's not her car. It's a blue Rev 4. It's what Bobby is pushing. The state has Bobby pushing their stuff on that property because the investigators, the county, whatever. I say state, could be county, whatever. Couldn't be caught on that property. So they manipulated the people inside. I believe Scott Tadich was a mole that got this whole thing rolling. Yeah, Shane says Bobby Dassey stated in court tealish green. You know, I'm going to bring up something that's been bugging me a long time. Where they found the roadkill deer out there on the road right by Bobby Dassey's house. What if that's not where a deer was really killed? What if a deer was poached to cover that up? What if the missing blood from this scene is actually right out on Highway 147? George, out. Gotta train him better. What if the missing blood from this victim is actually right outside on 147 there, where the deer blood was? What if the whole time that they're investigating this murder and Bobby cutting up a deer in his garage was a poached deer to cover up the murder scene on the highway? What if the damage to her vehicle was somebody running her off the road and shooting her on the highway there? Sometimes the simplest thing is what happened. In this theory, Teresa drives off with the perpetrator behind her in Bobby Dassey's truck. You pick if it's Scott or if it's Bobby or whoever. The perpetrator at this point is following her as it leaves Stephen Avery's property. We have two spots of interest. The dark spot on Cuss Road and a bloody spot right out there where the deer would have been laying. What if she was just injured really bad at that spot? They got to get that car off that road quick. So that means there'd be two people. One to drive the car, one to drive the truck to Cuss Road. Finish the deal. Jamie points out a good point. Wasn't the RAV4's VIN number tampered with? Yes. Absolutely testified by one of the investigators in a court of law that it was moved and tampered with. Moved and tampered with. Yeah, it's pretty much a RAV4 off of Herman's parking lot, if you ask me. He was the undersheriff at the time, heading for sheriff right at the time, going to be taking over the case, as Peterson and everybody else dropped off the case, you know, retired and stuff. See, Kat, you guys are you're my memories. You're right. And the plates were removed and bent. Yeah, the plates are moved and bent off the car, and I'll tell you now why. If you look at the license plates, you can see where those plates attach to a vehicle. There are rust spots on the front plate, and there are rust spots on the back plate where they attach to a vehicle. That blue RAV does not have drill marks on the front. It did not get attached. They had no way to put the plates on the other vehicle. So they folded them in half and they threw them over there. Yeah, and the old station wagon with the melted bucket. Oh, this case gets to me. I know I'm starting to sound like a biatch. I love you, Shane. Shane says there was also 36 million reasons why Stephen Avery was stitched up. Bramble Teaser says, I have no idea the number was changed or not. All I know, it is not her RAV they found at that scrapyard. Amen. Pass the butter. Oh, we got all this. We got this, all of you, Ducky. Good job. I love you, Mary Mary. I really do. Zellner'S kicking ass, taking names. All right, you guys, we're going to do a quick card reading, and then I'm going camping. It's real important that we understand where we're headed into the case, in case Zellner is watching. She might be getting tips and stuff like that. The cards do reveal information. And we're going to start off with hardcore cards. Now, Thomas sent $100 to the 1111, sent it to Ducky for the 1111 channel, and I got us these Threads of Fate cards, which are very expensive cards. We're going to use these. And thank you, Thomas, for doing that for us. There was something the other day I thought of. It was really simple, and I brought it up in a live the other night. If Bobby Dassey can place himself no later than 3 o'clock, that's the latest he can leave his home. And Scott Tadich says he didn't get home until 3:30. They can't very well cross paths, can they? I'm just saying, it's that simple. All right, my lovelies, here we go. One card came out. This card is going to be revealed at the end of the reading. It is serendipity. It is where the universe and all of our collective energy, including Zellner'S and Stevens, it's all the collective energy produces a result. And it's called serendipity because it's where fate and destiny collide. All right, my lovelies, let's get into this reading. We're going to use a good tarot here. We're going to find out what's going to be manifested shortly. What's all in the thought process of everybody? What is the biggest find that's going to come forward? Because I do feel there is communication coming. There's definitely another one coming forward. Definitely another person coming forward. I've known that for a while because of the cards. Yep, messenger of air. There it is. Can't make it up. Fell right out of the cards. It's air. 8 of air. Somebody is filled with woe. That's our challenge. And that's in our west. Whoever comes forward is going to cause someone to be all in their head. This is strife. This is 8 of air. This is, 8 of cups is walking away. This isn't 8 of cups energy. They're not walking away. It's a battle. And it's a lot about words. A lot of words come out. It's a heated battle. And it's also going within and struggling with what is right. Okay? Five of water is below the reading, which is all about regret. There is definite regret pushing someone forward. A lot of regret. And it's causing them to not sleep at night because this is in the west. It's where the sun sets. It's where you put your head down at night. It's trying to sleep. They cannot sleep anymore. Why? Because they're struggling with regret. What's going to happen? They want victory. They want to move forward. 6 of fire. This is the collective. Let's go ahead and see with their paper moon deck what we've got coming in 2021. Hey, Casey. How are you doing, lovely? Hey, Paula B. Hey, Marietta. How are you? Marietta says, hi, Rubberducky and all the other truthers. Good wishes from Germany. Aw, big heart to you, lovely. Thank you for joining us. All right, sweethearts, let's go. Come on, truthers. Put your energy in the cards. Believe we're bringing them home. Think about it. We didn't have this kind of forward movement in the past, right? We've got this. It's in our pocket. Woo! I said that. Cards flew out. All right. This, my friend, right here. Whoops, sorry. Didn't mean to slam the table. Okay. I'm never going to get camping if I don't finish this reading. There we go. Okay. The universe is nudging you to bring yourself into balance, to find a harmony in your life. 419. All right, so 419. That would have just been a few days ago. Somebody's getting urged to bring themselves into balance because of what just came out. I've got to get a drink. I'll be right back, guys. It also says 4/19/2021, which today is the 23rd, so it would have been right when all this filings all took place. It's Sun and Mercury enters Taurus, fixed sign, waxing crescent moon, Cancer. I'm going to get a drink. We're going to see where you're going in the next part. I thought I brought my tea. Well, I left it on the table. Okay. Oh my God, I was so thirsty. It's because I talk so damn much. And I plopped down like boom, boom in my chair. Okay, here we go. Verniqua says good wishes from Paris, France. I love you, darling. I do. I have no accent other than Southern. I'm a Southern girl. I say y'all. Truth does win, Mary Mary. Okay. Here's where we're going. So somebody's getting really uncomfortable. They're about to come forward. They are going to be victorious because in the North Node, which is what's for our highest good and where we're headed, that the universe is working with us on, is the 6 of fire, which is victory. Absolute victory. It's like a parade is being had. And somebody is riding the horse in the tarot, And they've got the victory wreath up there, and they're like, dun 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 dun. Whoops, sorry guys. There, make sure you can't see my strap. So this is after a battle. You know, it can be like, we won the battle, we won the battle. So victory is within our thing. The universe is whispering to you, be still and listen. 8/11. So this would be August 11th, 2021. The universe is whispering to you, be still and listen. So something very well may take place around that mid-week of August, like not the first week, but right after, like the beginning of the second week. It says Mercury enters Virgo. Virgo is a hermit energy in a sense. It's like going within. But Mercury is like movement, communication. So there'll be a lot of movement, communication behind closed doors at that time. Waxing crescent moon, and it's double tapped Virgo energy. So I agree, Paula. She wants them to come forward. All right, here we go. Now, we're about to find out what our serendipity is here, and then we're going to build up the four pillars of this reading with all the exterior foundational environmental creation of the case. But are you ready for serendipity? So the fate line has somebody can't sleep, there's a messenger of air, and we've got this universe is willing to listen, right? And then that's the fate line. And then on destiny, we have a lot of regret with the 5 of water turning into a victory with the 6 of air. So there's a lot of regret pushing somebody forward. It's not letting them sleep. What is the outcome with serendipity? Can't make it up, my lovelies. Surrender. Third eye is internal knowing. Just knowing to do what's right. Surrendering to the universe and saying, I give in. It's over. And we have to surrender to win. We have to surrender to our faith and to miracles to win. And we are. Okay, let's go ahead and let's see. What deck do I feel like using? I feel like using this deck. Okay, my lovelies. We are going to build up the 4 pillars. I'm going to grab a drink here again. I'm a really loud drinker. I don't mean to be. Wet my whistle before we get rolling. How many we got in chat with us today? I didn't advertise it, so I don't know. It says, I think it's like 39, but then it says playback's 170. I never know what that means. It don't matter if there's just you and me. I'm happy. Okay, here we go. Here we go now. Let's do this. Show me. Oh my God. We're about to rehash something. You got the Wheel of Fortune in illumination. Again, it tells me the entire case is going to be redone. Yep. Evidentiary hearing coming. Wheel of Fortune. That's what the cards are saying. The Wheel of Fortune is a 10. A cycle is completed. A new cycle starts. The Wheel of Fortune is also about, do you want to repeat the past? Do you want to go on this ride again because something was missed? You damn sure bet we do. Yeah, we do want to go on this one. We want to repeat this circle. We want to get back into that court, and we want to rehash things, and we want to make sure it's done right with a proper counseling this time, right? Clarity. What do we got for clarity? Show me clarity, please, in the case. Regret again. A lot of regret being shown in the case. Somebody has severe regret. They're coming forward because of regret. Because I've got the 5 of water and messenger of air is showing me with their clarification 2 different decks, 5 of water. It's in the south node. So in this case, regret is pushing this case forward. Wisdom. Here we go. Something we got coming here. Oh my God. 6 of Swords. We're moving to calmer ground. Yep. And we're protective of how far we've got with the 7 of Wands. That's forward movement. Both of those are action cards. And this is defending yourself. So it looks like we're moving towards defending ourselves, right? Which is what we want in this, because it's a case. It's an evidentiary hearing. I'm telling you, this is what's coming forward in the near future. Looks like it could be August, according to the cards. Somebody's got some severe regret coming forward. Could be Bobby. I don't know who it is. There's no gender in the tarot. It could be male, could be female. Intuitively, there is a messenger coming forward that has self-reflected on something. And they had it's tearing him up. It's keeping him very depressed. That's what I can tell you. I don't know who it is, though. Okay, we're looking at this 5 of water regret in the South Node, which is the challenge for this key person being asked by the universe. The universe is saying surrender. 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 You will surrender. You will surrender. You will surrender. Love. We have out of balance and intemperance. Archangel Michael's card. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for showing in love. You have to trust the divine and love the divine to know that this is being brought back into balance by Archangel Michael. He is on this case. He is a protector of children. Archangel Michael is a protector of children. Brendan is a child. He is coming forward to handle this case. That's why his card keeps showing up in all the readings. And it's in the position on the board of love. Archangel Michael, with this out of balance. The universe has had enough. And it's going to balance this case completely out. I get it every time I do a reading, you guys. Trust. We get this every time. I can't make these readings up. Go watch the other readings. Come back. You'll be like, well, damn it, same reading. The star card. In trust. Trust the universe. A wish is coming true. There will be healing. That's what the star card means. It's in the position of trust. And in the position of trust in Taurus. It's your second house. It's how things appear. It's trusting things. Here we go. Growth. What is the growth in this case, please? Oh, we got 3 cards. That the seeds were planted. Divine timing. And it has something to do with someone very single. It has something to do with somebody that is very, very single. There's plans with the 2 of Wands to move forward. Let's qualify this. Can't sleep at night. 8 of Swords. 8 of Air. Let's qualify this. Qualifying the 8 of Swords. Show me introspection into this. We got them all. All the cord. Oh my God. Okay. The whole top part is going to read like this. This is insane. You guys, in our physical material realm, something is coming forward that is aligned with us, that is aligned for this. It has to do with marriage, commitment, the courts. It's a legal thing that gets set right. The pillars get set right. It's an introspection. Somebody reviews this case and it gets set right. There's an offer made in the tangible world, like an affidavit or something. We have another one coming. Another one. We have the Page of Pentacles. This is somebody offering something tangible. Could be evidence. Could be an affidavit. It's another one. They feel it is aligned. You know, it's like Zawinski is the one set of pillars. Here comes the other. And they're offering something very solid in it. Very solid. In that, it's because they start working on themselves. They want to co-work together. They are cooperating. They've worked on themselves internally and they're getting over this fear of coming forward. And we double tap the 6 of Wands. I told you what it looked like. It was a horse. Man riding a horse. And he had this wreath, and he was winning after a battle. He won the victory, and he's coming home to celebrate the win. And finally, in our experience, we have the King of Swords. This can be a judge. This is somebody that is set right with the truth. It is aligned to hear nothing but the truth. It's very truthful. Very, very truthful. I feel like whoever's coming forward, or whatever this person is with this energy of King of Swords, there's no denying it. It is right there. All right, so they're in their head, but they are coming forward. They feel it is aligned with their destiny to surrender to the divine. They're coming forward. They're making a tangible offer. They worked on themselves. They want to be victorious, and they will be victorious. It is aligned for their higher good. They will receive protection from the divine in coming forward. The King of Swords is here, so they are definitely sharing and speaking to authorities. Yep, I am right because I'm a messenger. Hey, Stephen King. I always call my Stephen K that. Okay, guys, we're qualifying the Six of Water. These cards fell out. Let's see what we got. Queen of Cup is in cleansing. Somebody is no longer willing to share emotion and let that weigh on them out of protection of another. They're closed to the emotional part. The Queen of Cups is closing the lid, saying, how dare you? That's being cleaned out. Like this person no longer cares. No longer cares what the female says. Because the King of Swords is speaking their piece. What's being renewed is it's going to break somebody's heart when this person comes forward. It's going to break someone's heart when this comes forward. When this person comes forward, it closes the Queen of Cups' heart. And in purity, we have the High Priestess, she that knoweth but does not speaketh. Now we're going to grab the Secret Baby Tarot like I always do on this case. Hey, Mini Man. How are you doing? Zawinski coming forward may well have given others the courage to come forward and speak their truth. I agree, Manny Man. I agree. But that's what the cards are saying. Is that somebody now has gotten over some of their fear. But what I need to do is I want to qualify specific cards here, and then I got to get camping. So I'm recording the other, a lot of the me learning to go kayaking, me learning to do camping all alone. Not all alone. I get visitors and stuff, and there's special guests and stuff for the channel You're With Me Now. So that airs in June. I'm hoping by June 1st will be the first episode. I've got 5 episodes recorded, and I'm just building it up so that we can just have some fun together, right? And get the information out there about Stephen and Brendan and Wrongful Conviction as well on all channels. Here we go, lovelies. I want to qualify. I got it, but I didn't call it. I got the Knave of Pentacles. It's someone young that's in their head. It's definitely someone young. And they're holding the pentacle. Do you see them? They're holding something tangible in their hand. Give me this messenger of air. Show me more about this messenger. Who is coming forward? Show me who this is, please. Show me. There, it flipped in the deck. I got 7 of Cups in reverse. They feel they have no other option. Because 7 of Cups in the upright is plenty of options, confusions, things don't make sense. When you get it in reverse, decision is made. The confusion being cleared up. Right over the messenger of air. Show me this regret. What do they regret? Got the Queen of Swords in reverse. They regret a motherly figure. And that's what this is. It's Queen of Swords. You know, it's the Queen of Swords. It's this motherly type figure. They regret lying to this important person. It looks like Zellner because Queen of Swords is Zellner. Okay? She's in reverse. They have regret. They lied to her. And now they want to come back with 6 of Cups. and they want to clear up the truth. They may have lied to the courts, or they may have lied to Zellner. They lied to the Queen of Swords authority figure. Let's see. Who's this King of Swords? Whoa, that came out instantly. It's somebody very young, I guarantee you. It's probably the youngest Dassey. It is the Knave of Swords. Knave of Swords. The King of Swords, the guy that's going to talk, is very, very young. I got both knaves, the Knave of Pentacles and the Knave of Swords, which, truthfully, what do they know? What do they need to surrender? What information or evidence do they know? Please share. Please share. What do they know? What do they know? I have goosebumps. It's bent too. I bent it because when it came out, it crunched. 10 of Swords, death. Like overkill death. They know about the death. That's the information. And look, the swords are all around this person and they're strung up, you guys. This person may know about someone being strung up. Surrender. What else does this person know? It's a closed cycle. It's 10s all over the board. They know that it was the end. It was 2 10s. We have the 10 of Pentacles in reverse with the 10 of Swords upright. 10 of Pentacles is happy life, happy wife. It's in reverse. It's the worst. And 10 of Swords is in the upright. And I got this 9 of Pentacles. Again, this single energy. Someone knows something, and they're young. Show me what this High Priestess is with this. Oh my God. I know. This mother figure is going to be heartbroken. That's all I'm going to say. This mother figure is going to be heartbroken. And I got the High Priestess, meaning you already know who this is. You already know who is coming forward. You already know, you guys. You already know. It's very young energy. It's a brother. It's one of the brothers. That's what I've got. Okay. Let's see what this heartbreak is. Yes, Mary. Yes. Yes. Heartbreak. What do we got? Yep. Heartbreak again for the Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups, double tap for the same answer. Different deck. Look at this. I can't make this up. The cards don't lie. Queen of Cups here. Queen of Cups here. With the heartbreak. I was qualifying the heartbreak with this little deck. I got Queen of Cups. We also got another card. Soul tie to this person. They're related to him. They're related to him. Can be a mother, father figures that they're related to. It could be brothers. It's family. It's the soul card. It's the son. They can't live with it anymore. Show me the High Priestess. What is it that we know? They're single. I've got this. They're single. And the 9 of Cups, it's a wish fulfillment when this person comes in. It provides a wish fulfillment and healing. Show me the Star card. What is this? They've been hermiting. This person's been staying away from everyone. They have been very, very quiet. They're following their inner guidance. They know that God is protecting them. They've got the lantern given to them in the dark night of the soul. They're going through hell and back, but they're going to come out of it because they're going to clear the air and bring complete clarity. And they're going to heal people. They're going to heal a situation. What is it that they're going to offer? What is it that they're going to give us that is this tangible piece of evidence? What is this? Show us this, please. Two of Wands has to do with the manifestation of an 11. Two Wands is an 11. They're bringing in something tangible. He's got it in his hand. It looks round. If you look, this guy has something round in his hand. It looks like a bowl. And he's making the decision to bring it forward. This is something tangible. And it seems like it's round. He wants to put the burdens down. And she's holding the bowl too. What? She's holding a bowl too. It's something that they have in their hand physically. It's going to be something that they're doing that's round or dark, or she's got skull fragments, bones, knowing something about the head. They know something about the head, maybe? It's freaking me out even. So Zeppin 247 at Dassey Mail was on TV saying the cops told him to lie about many things. I can't remember his name, but he wore glasses. That would be Blaine. And am looking for the video. Can't remember where I saved it, for fuck's sake. Okay. Brad was on YouTube saying Blaine sent him a text. He showed the text. Blaine is talking to him. Oh, good. Well, you know, even if I knew all that before that, I can't make the cards tell that story, which I did not know all that. All right, let's dig into this. And I was doing these cards long before any of this was coming forward, right? Okay, the universe is nudging us, right? To take a breath and just listen. Who are we listening to? Stephen King says also Brenda might know more because in one of his interviews he said he threatened me with a knife if I said anything. Truth. Said he'd stab him in the same place that he stabbed her or something like that. Aw, you're very welcome. It's Susie Pim 247. You are so very welcome, lovely. Okay, 2 more cards, you guys. Then we're going to grab some blessings. And then, you guys don't realize it, but you're coming with me camping because I'm going to have it all filmed. You're going to get to see me learn how to kayak and camp in the cold winter. Well, spring. Oh, cards did finally flip. Action. 3 of Wands is happening. That is actual forward movement, a choice with a plan, Stan. Choice with a stand, plan. Strength. Whoever it is that is coming forward, I wish you much strength, much love. No matter what you've done, no matter what you've said in the past, you can conquer your fear. We appreciate your honesty no matter what. And it's never too late to come forward and really be honest and bring evidence to clear up a situation. And you can, it doesn't matter what has happened in the past. Truth will set you freer than you ever can believe. Truthfully. Now let's get some. I'm asked to do this one more time with the little deck before we switch. Okay, we got the 4 of Cups coming out. What else? Ace of Cups. This person's doing it out of love. They're too focused. They're focused on that 1 cup. That's all they can think about, is getting that self-love back in their life for being truthful. They are locked in. They will come forward. We will be victorious. There's no doubt. Miss you too, Mary. Let's get the blessings on this. And then we're going camping, folks. I think it's great. I've been seeing some of my older videos that still are very relevant today and still being talked about, being shared in some of the groups. And I want to say thank you to all of you for doing that. The more people that we can communicate with, the better, right? Get more people on board. Also, if you want to spend more time with me, I also have 1111 Tarot, and I do readings all the time over there. Are you ready? We got 4 blessing cards, which is perfect because my reading is based on the 1111 Wheel of Life, which is based on the east, the south, the west, and the north, circulating around the cosmos. In the east, the reflection is very cold right now, and somebody wants to warm up their life, and they really do want to. Oh Lord, my hair. This way? No. This. I'm all switched in the camera. I know I'm going camping, so I'm like, I'm not going to style my hair. I'm all natural today. Desert Vision Quest. They've been a long journey looking for a little bit of water to quench their soul, and they had to get a new perspective in the Milky Way to do it, which will bring in the truth, which is ebb and flow, the ocean, the water they're seeking. The spiritual healing that they're seeking is coming. Bless you to who is coming forward. We as truthers stand behind you for being honest and helping to move this case forward. We need you, and the universe has got your back. So I love you guys. Warm the idiot masses. I got divorced, raped in Wisconsin. I urge an email with money to get your asses out there and got divorced, raped in Wisconsin. I urge an email with money to get your asses out of there and come to Southeast Asia. I love it here. I still have crap back there in Wisconsin, but think I'm going to... I don't even understand that. I'm going to leave that message. It was kind of weird. All right, my lovelies. I'm going camping. Wish me luck. Hopefully I stay warm and don't freeze to death. Probably going to anyway. It's all adventure and learning. You are so welcome, Mary Cordes. I love you guys. Go hit up my other channel. Give me a ton of subscribers, please, so I can hit 1,000. I would love that. Share. Hit up Brendan Dassey in an email or, well, a letter. Let him know that you're thinking about him. Mail Stephen if you so wish. Show your support, your love. Tweet. Leave your DNA on the like button. All that good stuff. All right, I'll be back next week. I'm sure there'll be plenty to talk about, but the cards are never wrong. So we've got someone young, a lot of young names. It's like the brothers are. Look. I know. I said I was gonna go. Now I'm staying. Thank you, Stephen King. Look. Yeah. I don't know what you're saying. Warm the idiot masses. I don't really care for it. Okay. Yeah, you've got the young ones all around this soul ties, so they're all family. I do know that we're going to see some massive changes going forward. All right. Love you to the moon and back.